let's talk about using two or more CTEs and one expression. So the syntax is fairly simple. What we're going to do here is we want to return a specific department and all of its child departments. And so I've got two CTEs. The first one is with, I called it parent department, and it simply selects the department ID, parent department ID, and department description from volunteer.volunteer department. Where department ID is one, and ID one is food shelf. So I just hard coded something in there for this example. If we want to have more CTEs, they need to follow by right afterwards, and then you would put you want to make sure you put a comma before the next one, outside of the closing parenthesis for the first one. You notice the second one does not have a width. We have one width for all of the CTEs that we may have in a row. Okay, and this next one is child department, and it's literally just going to bring back everything from that table. Okay, so now we've got these two imaginary, however you want to call them, tables in memory. One that's a complete table and one that is a subset table that only has department ID 1. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and return from D1, which is parent department, and we called it parent department. We're going to return D2, department description as child department, from parent department as D1. We're going to inner join on the child department as D2, where D1 department ID equals D2 parent department ID. So in other words, what we're doing is we're looking to make the query join so that the department ID is the same as the parent department ID. And in this case, we seeded it as 1. And so every child that has a parent department of ID 1 will be returned in this query. So we go ahead and execute it. And by the way, you see all these red lines with indicating errors again. I mentioned in a previous video, if you didn't watch the previous video, I modified the table, and what happens is sometimes SQL Server doesn't like to see things that have been changed very quickly. Sometimes you have to close and reopen the system to do that, and so that would be the problem there. But actually, its error is correct. And I'm just going to set this up so you can see it. I just copied it into TextPad in order to be able to see the results a little better. And you can see, sure enough, we come back with a parent department of food shelf for inventory, intake, and customer relationships, customer relations, the 3 child departments um, of food shelf. If you have any questions, please ask them in one of the discussion forums.